Hi there, it's Kevin Benedict, SAP Mentor and Enterprise Mobility Analyst, reporting live from SAP's TechEd 2011. And I have the pleasure of spending some time this afternoon with Jagdish Bansiya from Sybase, who's the CTO of Enterprise Mobility. So thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Kevin.
And so I have a question for you. We've seen all kinds of interesting applications that we call instant value applications because they're low-hanging fruit. They solve some very specific problems and they bring some productivity gains. They help things become more efficient. But that's not really going to change or transform a company, is it?
No, not really. I think where I really see the significant value of mobility being transformational is net new applications that really people can conceive because they understand how mobile devices bring a new context to business applications. So now you can do things that you were not able to do before because you did not have context, in the way that you were working with before. So you're working on desktop devices, so you didn't have location, you didn't have presence, right? You didn't have a lot of what I would call as contextual data that is associated with primarily location, I think that, and then the presence and what you are doing and your calendar and your contacts and so on, right? So what I'm really excited is that for people to take mobility to the next level, you need to look at how are people working, outside of the enterprise, and how can you deliver data and process to these applications that was not possible before. So I give you some examples. One of the interesting couple of new use cases that I learned from people in the automotive industry who are working with this is what I would call as the entire subcontract management. So if you think about SAP, right? SAP is used by a lot of large scale manufacturing companies, but today a lot of these companies outsource their manufacturing to small subcontracting processes, subcontractors, and these subcontractors don't run SAP. Now these large companies don't have visibility to the SAP systems or the supply chain of the contractors. Now these contractors, you can give mobile devices and you can start getting information from these mobile devices feeding into your SAP systems now to give a much more granular information of how your supply chain is working downstream. Now take another example. For example, I saw a company working in a construction space in the nuclear plants and energy space, right? And they are now taking quality and inspection type of applications to work in these, you can say nuclear reactors, and to work with your plants and do quality and audit on them. So these applications, if you have to think about this, you need a lot of domain knowledge, people who have actually understood how the processes work, and they see mobile as a new, touch point for applications, and then you take that touch point of application and understand the business process, and you create net new applications, which would require you to do two things. It would require you to do some backend development of missing processes and gaps that are there, and a mobile application to go with that.
Absolutely, and I see that outside the four walls, there's a lot of actual physical activity and compliance issues that have never been monitored. And there's not been visibility into them, and there's no accountability into them. And I can see the whole area of starting to do compliance monitoring, quality, safety, best practices, all of that, which was never an effective way. You would end up doing so much paperwork, you would never do your job. But with mobile devices, you can automate so much of that compliance. That's another example.
That's absolutely right. And I think, where I see a lot of people, if you want to create net new IP, I think the net new IP will come from your domain experience that you have. And mobility just becomes, then a technology to deliver and, create value around that. So I really see an opportunity for the people who really have understood the business process domains and see the problems there, and then see mobility as a way to solve their problems. And then what you would be able to do is you'll really be able to build these net new applications, which is really what I see as the exciting place where mobility is really going to make a differentiation.